What's up guys, Jivan back with another video. Early game is one of the most crucial parts of the game, and I know a lot of you have been struggling with it because I've been getting mad requests to make a drop spot video. So in this video, I'm going to be giving you everything you need step by step in order on how you can make a drop spot. I'm not going to be one of those people that hands out drop spots in a video, because if I give a drop spot away in a video, all of a sudden that drop spot isn't good anymore and the video is just a waste of your time. But if you follow along this video, I promise you'll be able to make a fire drop spot, and if you stick with it, you will master it. At the end of the video, I'll be giving you off-spawn fighting tips as well. Let's get into it. Code JivanTV, like and subscribe. First step to building a drop spot is you got to go to this website called Fortnite.gg. This will make the entire process of building a drop spot way easier. Next up, pick any side of the map that you are most comfortable with or you really want to land at. Like, let's say you like the snowy side of the map just because you think it's cool. That's fine. That's a good way to start out and pick a side of the map. It really isn't that deep, and this is why. Any part of the map is good. Like, all you got to do is get used to it and learn where everything is. So it's okay to pick a side of the map that you're not even that comfortable with yet. So that's step 2. Step 3 is pick a location on that side of the map that you want to learn. This can be a named location, it can be a small place outside that doesn't have a name, it could be a gas station, it can be anything. This is going to be your landing location to start out. After like a week of landing at this side of the map, you might realize that there's a different building that you want to land at instead, but this is where we're going to start out. The place that you have chosen, that's your drop spot. Next up, we're going to be walking through a checklist of things that you need to know about your drop spot. I call this the drop spot checklist. If you guys want a hard copy PDF of it to help you like follow along with the video or help you when you're making your drop spot, the link to that is in the description. First thing is, where can you get max metal? It's crucial to get a good metal farm in cash cups. Otherwise, you're going to have to rely on getting a kill later in the game to get your metal, if you don't do it off spawn. It doesn't need to be in your location, it's somewhere that you can rotate to get metal. Next is how to rotate through your loot spawns the most efficient. I'm going to show you a quick example of this. It's basically all about just covering all the loot in one single go around. So just a random example, I'm going to show you how to loot this place efficiently. It's a really simple example. Basically, you could just start out here, move up there, head here, there, there, there. You see how it's all one straight path? That's the goal. When you're looting off spawn, you want it to be, you don't have to like swing back around and re-loot places that you already ran by. You want to find the most efficient path possible. So let's just say, for example, here you go here, here, boom, 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 boom. Like, I don't know, that's pretty efficient right there. That's what you want to figure out how to do at your spot. Following that, you want to figure out which are the best things to farm while you're looting your spot. You don't want to farm any piece of wood, any piece of brick that you see. You only want to farm the ones that are going to give you the most maximum amount of brick and wood possible. The main thing is, when you're looting off spawn, you want to get out of there as quick as you can. And once you get out of your drop spot, you'll be able to loot wood and brick way faster because you can find max brick farms and max wood farms. So you don't want to be hitting the stuff off spawn that only gives you like 5 wood or like 2 metal. Try to figure out the stuff that's going to give you like 10 wood per hit, and only farm those while you're looting through. Again, you want to get off spawn as fast as possible, and if you're going to fight off spawn, you need to be able to do it as efficiently as possible. You want to finish looting your spot before they finish looting their spot, if that makes sense. So any bit of efficiency that you can get in your drop spot is key. Now, after I loot my spot, I always look to get a car, and get a car with tires. This is one of the most important things in a solo cash cup. I try to get a Lambo with tires every single game. And when I get that, I try to keep that car alive until the moving zones. That way, I don't have to waste any materials on my rotate. I can just zip to the zone and it's a GG's, I'm already there. Even if people shoot at me, because I have a Lambo, I can boost and just get past all of them. You might not have a Lambo at your spot, and that's a-okay. The main thing is you gotta try to find where your car spawns are. And on top of that, those red containers that drop the torches and the tires, anytime you find one that drops tires, always try to keep track of where the tires were so that you don't forget. A lot of times I'll mark right next to it so that the marker stays there and I can come back to it. So once you get the car, you're basically done off spawn. You just rotate to the zone while stopping at any god brick, which means any brick that drops like 150. Stop at those on your way to zone, and also try to get your wood maxed out on the way to zone. And of course, drive to your metal spawns if your metal spawn was not off spawn. Okay, so we're not done with the drop spot stuff yet. That's what I do after my spawn, but I got some more god tips for you to help you out. One thing to keep in mind is potential places to disengage to. If you're not looking good off spawn, like you know you're out looted, or somebody beat you to your drop spot, try to figure out where are the places that you can curve to. Is there a good loot spawn, maybe like 5 chests, 3 chests, whatever it is? Is there somewhere that you can run to get away from that spawn situation? Sometimes you need to drop your ego and get out. I know for me, for a fact, when I play arena, I'll just fight with a revolver if that's what I get off spawn. Like, I'm just like, screw it. I'm just gonna push. Other dude has pump SMG, I'm fighting him with a revolver. When in reality, if you wanna maximize your survival rate, you gotta dip and drop your ego, go to that side spot. So figure out where those places are and try to build alternate loot paths. Like if you have to disengage to one of those spots, try to figure out where you would go next. Would you rotate back to where you started and fight that guy? Or is there another loot path that you can follow to maximize your loot and get set up for the end game? I know me for a fact, I usually try to avoid fighting off spawn in tourneys. I'll take shots at the people around me, but a lot of times I try to avoid getting in a full-on fight because that slows me down. It slows down my rotate to the zone and just messes me up. So I have a lot of alternate loot paths built, and I basically rotate based on where I see other people land around me. I rotate away from them and go to the other loot path that maybe is uncontested. I don't know if this is making sense. I don't want to give away my drop spot because it's already starting to get really contested just from the week that I qualified the finals. But I think I'm making sense here. Another key thing to note about your off-spawn situation is, are there any buildings with loot on top of it? Now, there's 2 reasons you gotta note this. 1, you could land there and shoot people out of the sky. I get a lot of free kills doing this. But the other reason you gotta note this is because other people might be doing the same thing. If they see you on a roof shooting at people in the sky, they're going to shoot at you because you're just standing there. So what you gotta do is note where all those buildings are with loot on top of it. That way you know, what angles do I need to watch? Next thing to note is, are there vending machines that can give you guaranteed loot off spawn? If so, that might be a good place to start your loot path so that you take away some RNG. I always land at a mending machine in hopes that I'll get minis off spawn. On top of that, I have barrels right next to that vending machine so that if I get minis, I'm basically already max shield right away off spawn. Takes away a little bit of the luck factor of the game because I'm spawning with shield basically. So look out for that at your drop spot. Next up, if you get out dropped, are there cars that you can get in to run away? Like let's say at first you think that you have the best drop, but then you realize he's gonna beat you to the gun. Is there somewhere you can curve to, maybe a building that you can get in safely, or a car that you can land in and drive away? Good stuff to note. We are almost through all the tips. Be sure to hit that like button, sub if this has been helping you out so far. Next tip is, if you didn't know, drop maps are maps that basically are built to give you the best drop at your building. There's people on Twitter that make drop maps for a slight amount of money. You can pay them and then they'll make you a drop map and you'll never get out dropped at your location again. I'm sure there's tutorials on YouTube of how you can make a drop map yourself. I'm sorry, I don't know how to make one personally, so I'm no help in that field. But if you want to find somebody that makes drop maps, just literally go to Twitter and search drop map maker Fortnite or something. Another thing that you can do off spawn, and this would just completely scrap your current idea. I love this strat for solo cash cups. I call it the variety drop spot. Basically, if there's a location with several loot paths or several buildings close together, try to aim between all of them and pull towards the one that looks the least contested or the safest. This can maximize your survival rate. The biggest thing is you gotta be on the lookout for those people that shoot you out of the sky off spawn. I did this in I think season 8 of chapter 2 and it worked like a charm. I made it off spawn pretty much every single game back when I was not very good at fighting. Low-key, might try it again soon because my drop has been getting very contested recently. Next up, we got a reminder, when scouting where everyone is going off spawn, make sure you keep in mind where everybody lands so that you know where to rotate to either fight or avoid fighting. Now, last drop spot tip is landing at a POI or a named location that is really hot is not the worst option. You can land at a building that no other players land. Let's just say Tilted, for example. You claim one of those buildings, that's a lot of loot in one building. After looting that building, you could literally just dip out of there and loot some outskirt spots nearby. Not the worst idea. Those are all my tips for building a drop spot. Hopefully that helps you guys out. Last part of this video, I'm going to give you a couple fighting tips for early game. The thing is, every single location off spawn is different, so the best way to learn how to fight your drop spot is try to figure out where vantage points are, like some elevation points where you can get fries, figure out how you can do sneak plays on people that land at your place, and then just figure out how to loot your drop spot efficiently. That way you have the other player out looted. That's how you're going to learn how to fight at your drop spot, but here's some tips that apply to any location. If you ever get in a fight with more than one player off spawn, try to claim a building and farm the building while branching out. That way you're like initiating a box fight rather than a build fight. If you build fight against multiple players off spawn, a lot of times you're not going to have enough mats and you're going to run out of mats and just die. So claiming a building is a way that you can ensure you have mats to farm while you're fighting, and you're staying safe in your box so that if another player rotates in, you can't get fried. Same thing applies for when you get low on mats. Let's say you are build fighting, you get low on mats, drop down, claim a building, and initiate a box fight. Pay close attention to your mats off spawn because you don't want to wait till last second or you probably won't be able to build off your angles. Now, last tip I have in this video is try to avoid the center of a named location until you know that it's safe. Try to think about who has angles on you off spawn. If you push the center of a POI, while there's still like 4 other players there, they're all going to rotate to the center once they're done looting, and they're just going to collapse on you from all angles. If you're looting a building in the center, that's okay because you're blocking off the angles with the building, obviously. But if you're rotating through the center of the location and other people have viewpoints on you, that's not good because you can get fried. I've seen so many times in cash cups where somebody does that, they rotate through the center, get fried from one angle and fried from the other at the same time, and just instantly die. A good way to go about this instead is rotate around the outer edges of the named location and loot all those buildings rather than going straight to the center and looting those. Main thing is you just got to be aware of where the other players are and what angles they have on you. I hope this video helps you guys out. If it did, be sure to hit that like button, sub if you're new, use code JivanTV, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.